read a quote once that said, "A person who feels appreciated will always do more than what is expected," unquote. I know this is true because of how I feel when someone shows appreciation to me. It's one of the easiest equations, and it never fails. When we show appreciation to another person, that person is more likely to help again. They're going to feel great, and they're going to try to exceed your expectations because they know that what they're doing is being noticed and making a difference. It's November, and it's the month of giving thanks, so I thought I'd do a special episode on what it looks like when we reach out and show appreciation for the people in our lives. Stay tuned for stories from the people who got involved with this appreciation challenge and what that looked like. Stories are our lives in language. Welcome to the Love Your Story podcast. I'm Lori Lee, and I'm excited for our future together of telling stories, evaluating our own stories, and lifting ourselves and others to greater places because of our control over our stories. This podcast is about empowerment and giving you, the listener, ideas to work with in making your stories work for you. Story power serves you best when you know how to use it. William James, well-known psychologist and philosopher, said, quote, "The deepest principle of human nature is a craving to be appreciated," unquote. We all want and need to feel valued for who we are, and we love being recognized for our contributions and accomplishments. It's important for humans to know that we've made a difference in the world and to the people around us. When a person takes the time to express real appreciation for something we have done, it helps us know that our efforts have been accepted, and it empowers us. More often than not, a simple appreciation also infuses an energy and motivation to work harder and to do more. It's really powerful stuff, just being appreciated. So, I thought I'd proffer a challenge to a few folks around the Northern Hemisphere. We've got some folks from Utah, from Ohio, even from Canada. So here's what happened. I extended an invite to about 18 people to participate in this challenge by taking some time to identify someone in their life that maybe was underappreciated, and to genuinely show them that they are appreciated. Then I just wanted to hear back from the person doing it about how it went. Of those 18 people I sent the challenge to, only 5 were willing to take the time to reach out with a little extra love. Interesting. Too busy with what, I wonder, to reach out and say thank you. So, for those souls who were hardy enough to share some appreciation, they recorded their experiences, and I thought I'd share those with you. So, here they are.
Hi, my name is Brooks Potter, and I was asked to speak of appreciation for a person or several people in my life, and I thought of 2 people to do that with. So my first experience is my medical assistant that works with me. I'm a podiatrist, and I have a medical assistant that brings back my patients and helps me with a lot of different things at work. I've had experiences with her where I've tried to thank her in the past, and I've done it just kind of generally where I've said, "Hey, I just want to thank you for all you do for me," but to me it has kind of come across a little bit forced or maybe a little bit cheesy. And when I was asked to do this, to show appreciation for someone, I thought, how can I thank her and make this feel a little bit more real to her? 2 days went by and I thought, you know what, I need to thank her, but I need to do it very specific. I need to think of what she does specifically to help me out. And so the thought came to me that one thing that I really do like is that she helps me a lot with paperwork. And that's one thing that if I don't have her doing that, it really slows me down. And so I thanked her for that. It was different than it had been in the past because I could tell that she was very thankful and she wanted to keep talking about it. I could tell that she was a little bit proud when I talked to her about that, and she went on to tell me the ways in which she helps me with the paperwork. And, I could just tell that she was a little bit happier throughout the day because I thanked her specifically for that. And I could tell that it seemed more sincere to her than it probably has in the past. And it was more sincere. The thing that I learned from that experience of thanking her was that when you thank someone, you should do it very specific. You should put some thought into it. Have a specific example of how that person helped you. And by so doing, it comes across more natural, feels more natural to them as well. My second experience was with a sister of mine who helped me a lot in the last 4 years. I went through a divorce about 4 years ago, and I had to leave my home temporarily and did so for about 3 months. And it was hard because I had my kids obviously with me. And when we were outside of my home and in this apartment, we didn't have all the kids around, neighborhood kids for my kids to play with. And so it kind of put me in a situation where it was a little bit harder to entertain them. So this sister of mine would invite us over frequently, and she did so almost every Sunday, where she would make dinner for us, and we would stay there for several hours, and it felt relaxed, where we were not in a hurry to feel like we had to go home, and her kids would play with my kids, and so we did that every Sunday, and then sometimes during the week as well. And so it just happens to be that it was her birthday tomorrow, and my kids and I bought her a little gift card, a chocolate bar, and a birthday card, and we all wrote in that and thanked her specifically for how she helped us during that time and had us over almost every week. So she wasn't home when we left the gift, but she called about an hour later and thanked me and the kids for doing that, and it was exciting for her. And so I think what I learned from that experience and how it made me feel was it's not about how a person responds to you when you give appreciation for them. It's a nice secondary manifestation of how they feel. But my thought, it has nothing to do with why you should do that and how you should do that. You shouldn't be expecting any thanks at all, even though most likely you're going to get it. You should do it because you're truly thankful. And then also, what I noticed as I was thinking of different things that I could say to these people to thank them, it made me realize the blessing that I had in my life, not only for those two people that helped me out, but just the blessing of what they did for me made me realize that it was not just about them, but it was about God blessing me through them. And so those were my thoughts, and I know I left something out, but thanks for the experience.
Hi, I'm Sandy, and I accepted this gratitude challenge. And Sunday morning, I opened my Facebook, and a boy that had been very good friends with my sons and played hockey together, went to school together. He practically lived at our house for a few years there, and then they sort of went their separate ways and developed a different circle of friends and lost touch a bit. And on Facebook, Sunday morning, he had posted pictures from the emergency room. He had just been knifed almost to death. Had been at a party, and a couple of individuals that weren't invited showed up, and some things happened, and he had posted this picture. And all day my heart was just breaking and feeling like, how did this person who was so dear to us slip away from us? And then now there's this distance. I just wanted to reach out and hug him, but felt like maybe we didn't have that kind of relationship anymore. And when Lori extended the challenge to me, I just got on Facebook and I inboxed him and I said, "Do you have any idea how dear you are to me? I think of you as one of my own sons. And I'm just so grateful that you're alive. And, pray that there will be justice and that you will heal and recover from this. And we're here for you." And he immediately sent me back a note from his hospital bed. And it just said, "Sandy, you don't have any idea how much this means to me." And then me and my sons were able to visit him in the hospital, and now he's home. And we've been keeping in touch, and it just felt amazing that I think once we love people, that stays in our hearts, but somehow when there's some time and distance, we just let go of those things and we don't communicate how we feel about people, and that the feelings haven't changed. And I was so grateful for this opportunity to just be a little bit brave and reach out to someone that has meant so much to me and my children, and reconnect and reestablish that bond that was clearly always there, but was hiding because we weren't doing anything about it and we weren't saying anything about it. And I'm really grateful for this opportunity.
My name is Jamie, and I accepted Lori's challenge because it wasn't something that was extremely out of my realm. I like to pay it forward whenever I can. And I chose to do this with two different people. One who is a child, who is my daughter, and the other was an adult who is a colleague of mine. And with my daughter, I helped her with specific chores and things that she does by herself regularly around the house. And when I told her that I was going to help her with them, it came as a little bit of a surprise because these are things that she typically does by herself. But she was more than happy to have my help, and she was very appreciative of it as well. And with my colleague, I brought her coffee a couple times. I knew that she had long days ahead, and she has a coffee addiction as big as mine, and so I know that that would mean a lot to her, because sometimes we just need that cup of coffee to get through that day. And again, she accepted it very well and was more than happy to drink those cups of coffee, and she was very grateful as well. And it means the world to me to just be able to give something very simple, but show gratitude, show that I care, and be appreciated in return.
I'm with Katie, and she took the appreciation challenge, and she's going to tell us, Katie, why did you take the challenge?
Well, it seemed like a positive thing to do, a way to get outside of myself. I think sometimes being single and a working professional, I feel like I spend a lot of time focusing on myself and my own needs, and it was a good way to get outside of myself and think about other people.
Okay, so what did you end up doing, and what happened? What were the responses of the other people?
It was really fun. My very first day, I'm a very religious person. I started praying a lot about who I could try to reach out to in gratitude. And the first day, the people that came to my mind were my grandmothers. I have two grandmothers who are living, and one of them I have a very complicated relationship with. Growing up, it was very difficult to get close to her, and I always wished that we had a closer relationship. And it's definitely been a fight my whole life to gain that relationship, and it's still not very easy or natural all the time. So it was kind of surprising to me that her name popped into my head as someone that I could express gratitude to. But I felt like I should do it. I wasn't particularly looking forward to it because it can be uncomfortable for me sometimes. But on my way home from school, I called her. I'm a teacher. I called her, and the minute she answered the phone, she must have had a caller ID, but she just said, "How did you know I've been thinking about you today?" That was the first thing that she said when I answered. She didn't even say hello. And I was so surprised. I guess she had found a dress that used to be hers that she wanted to give to me, and she had set it aside and was going to mail it to me. And I said, "Well, don't mail it to me. I'm going to come visit you tomorrow." So I went, it was the weekend the next day, so I went and visited her, and we had a wonderful visit for about an hour or so at the assisted living center where she lives. And just as I was leaving, I said, "Grandma, I just want you to know that I really love you and I appreciate you." And she, kind of got embarrassed and looked down and shrugged it off a little bit, because I think those kinds of things make her a little bit uncomfortable. I said the words that I wanted to say, and it was more being there that showed the appreciation as opposed to the words I said, but I think both are important.
Okay, so I love that, and I'm happy that you got to see your grandma.
I haven't seen her in a long time, so it was really cool.
Awesome. And so tell me, how did it make you feel showing appreciation?
It made me feel a little uncomfortable, honestly, in that situation, just because my grandma has always been someone who's been really hard. She doesn't show her affection hardly at all. And so for me to do it felt a little bit uncomfortable, but I was so grateful for it because, she's got so many cool things about her that I don't realize. Like when we got there, she said that she's like, all the other people who live in this assisted living center, they all play these stupid games. And she was referring to like bingo and bridge. And my uncle was there and he said, yeah, that's because everybody else has learned how to retire except for you. And she was like, well, I will never play those games. She always likes to be busy. She always likes to have a job. And she had just gone through all of her clothes and took off all the buttons because she thought they were really pretty. And I think she was getting ready to give away some clothes, but she wanted to save the buttons. And she always has a project, something productive going on, some way to make the most out of her life and do something worthwhile instead of something that she deems pointless. And so it was kind of cool to see that side of her, and that was something I got to see more of just by having that visit.
Okay, so did you have another person too?
Well, I did. I basically had a different person every day. So
For how many days?
for 7 days, I had 1 or 2 people every day that I expressed appreciation to. The second one was that same day that I visited my grandma. I had a piano lesson with a student, and he's 8 years old, and he's very difficult in terms of his behavior. He has ADHD, and he's a brilliant child, but has a really hard time focusing. And I've been teaching him for 2 years, and right now we do 15-minute lessons because that's all he can focus on. But he's an extremely intuitive musician. He loves music. He loves piano. And he did such a good job at his lesson. We stretched it to 20 minutes, I think. He was able to focus for 20 minutes on Saturday. And he was leaving the room because it was his sister's turn to have her piano lesson. And I said, hey, Caleb, come back here. And he said, what? And I said, you did so awesome today. Did you know that you were so awesome? And he got the biggest smile on his face. It was the cutest thing because he was really proud of what I said and and it was really cool for me because it was something extra that I don't necessarily do like that, to just look him in the eyes and say, you did such a good job today. You're amazing. So it was fun.
Awesome. You're an overachiever. 7 of them.
I don't have to talk about all of them, but there were a couple that stood out. Those 2 in particular did.
Thank you for sharing.
Yeah.
Hi, this is Rob, and when Lori extended the challenge to me, I knew exactly who I wanted to call. My sister, Lori. Our family has undergone a number of transitions in the past year, primarily surrounding the death of our father. And my sister has been instrumental in dealing with the legal and very practical considerations of dissolving what small estate he had and selling his home. We're now to that point where the home is being sold here very soon. And I just did not feel like she gets the appreciation that she should get from not only the family, such that we are, as very small now, but also the people around her. And so it was my pleasure to call her and let her know that she is loved, she's appreciated, and she was very receptive of that and also responded back in kind, although I don't feel like I do half as much as she does for this process. So it's I thank Lori Lee so much for allowing us to and reminding us to just take a moment to tell people around us that they're loved and that they're appreciated. And we love and appreciate you too.
One of the things I found interesting as I listened to these fabulous experiences was how different people interpret showing appreciation. Jamie, for example, speaks the love language of gifts and service because to show appreciation, she helped her daughter with her chores and she brought a gift to her coworker. Rob and Brooks showed appreciation through a genuine conversation or a card. Katie with a compliment to her piano student for his hard work. 3 things in parting. First, there's not a right or a wrong way to show appreciation. It can be simple. It can be involved. Don't overthink it, just do it in your style. Second, Appreciation is one of our deepest needs, and it changes our world. It changes our relationships. It changes our own hearts and our own experiences. It's worth those few minutes it takes. And really, it only takes a few minutes, sometimes just a few words. And third, are you someone who is too busy to show someone appreciation today? Or could you find a minute during this season of giving thanks to actually give some thanks? Your challenge today is to think of 2 people in your world. And chances are you're going to be seeing family and friends this Thanksgiving, so you can do face-to-face and go out of your way to show appreciation in your own way for the beautiful people who bless your life. It's so easy and the payout is so high. Happy Thanksgiving, everyone. I want you to know that I'm thankful to all of you listening to this podcast. Without an audience, there's no one to share these ideas with, so you make this podcast worthwhile. Thanks for all you do in sharing these episodes with friends and family, and thank you to those of you who have taken the time to leave a review on iTunes or Stitcher. Thank you for all of those who support Love Your Story in your own ways. You're the bomb. www.loveyourstorypodcast.com. Subscribe, rate, review, and share. You know the routine. Oh yeah, want to share a groovy Love Your Story t-shirt as a Christmas gift? You can buy those on our website. Just hit the shop tab. Travel safe and have fun creating your next holiday story. See you next week.